I'm going to show you how to set up Aruba Instant with a Microsoft NPS server for Radius Authentication. So to start off, let's get the IP address of our virtual controller. So here's our IP address. It's 10.1.202.10. Now you're going to have to go into your NPS server and you're going to have to add a new client. So right mouse click, do new, and you're going to add a new client. And this is what it looks like, my client. So I just put a name in there, put your IP address of your virtual controller in, and create a shared secret. So now let's go into our Aruba Instant. Now if you did a new setup, let me show you the settings on this. So I made an SSID called Radius Test. And here's the most important part that you're going to see. This is 8.4, so it looks a little bit different if if you're on a previous version. And what we have to select is this EAP offload, unless if you have a certificate on your NPS server. So I don't have a certificate on my NPS server, so the EAP is going to fail. But if you do EAP offload, it will use the certificate that's built into the Aruba Instant. Now, in the earlier versions of code, I believe it says EAP termination or it says termination. So make sure you select that. You can see that I'm doing WPA2 Enterprise. And this authentication server here is the Microsoft NPS. So here's the IP address of the NPS server. And here's the shared secret that we set up in the client earlier. So really that is it. Let's take a look at NPS because NPS is what you have to do a little more work on. So we set up the Radius client. Now you have to go in and you have to set up a connection policy. So here is my connection policy. You can see the processing order. It's going to hit this secure wireless connection 4 first. So let's take a look at this. If you look at this, if you go in and you look at the settings here, make sure that it's set to go up against wireless, right? So you can edit that. And I have wireless checked. And here's my authentication methods. I'll just click through these for you to see. And here's my overview. So let me click on my network policy down here. And again, I have these others disabled. And this is my first in my processing order anyway. But let's take a look at this because this is important. So I'll just leave this screen up so you can take a look at what I have set. And then let's look at conditions. There's that wireless. And here's my authentication method. This is the important part. So we have the EAP set up. And if you click on it, or you go to edit it, you can change these number of authentication retries. But unless if you have a valid certificate on your server, you'll see you'll get a failure message. And that's why we have to set up the EAP offload. So I'll give you a look at the way everything I have set up here. And you should be good to go. I'll show you how I can join the network now. So let's see this Radius test. So you can see that it's prompting me for the certificate. If I look at the certificate, it's coming from the controller, from the Aruba Instant. now I'm joined.